Tiger Nation, what's going on out there, everybody? One last time for the football season. It is Kurt Stubbs at Talkin Tigers for your season finale of the delayed reaction in terms of football. Going to try to put a bow on this 2023 season for the Tigers. A lot of first and some last. The season ended this past Friday night, as most of you, if not all of you, know that, in triple overtime to a sound Upper Arlington team. So with that being said, our last two meetings, the 2021 regional final and then last Friday night regional quarter, we've played 6 overtimes with these guys, and we've been on the losing end both times, 21-14 in 2021, and then 23-17 on Friday night. Now, the final score is a bit deceiving because this game was 7-7 at the end of regulation. I was trying to think about how I wanted to say this. Because I can see that I want to talk out of two perspectives. As a player, as a coach, parent, anybody that is directly involved with the program, the people that are putting in the blood, the sweat, the tears, the hours, the time away from home, the time away from family, the way that you're going to look at this particular situation should be different than somebody like me, where it's easy to say what I will say. But if you're looking at it from the perspective of the people that I mentioned, the call in the second overtime that should not have been a touchdown. The ball was clearly out on the ground. So who knows what happens after that? They do call it a touchdown. Upper Arlington takes a 17-10 lead. We end up scoring big fourth down pickup. I was stunned that we picked that up. And then Heller runs it in from 4 yards out to tie it up. So you could look at it as, well, it shouldn't have been a touchdown. I don't know. It's a what-if game. I don't know what happens after that if it's not called a touchdown. But, from the staff, the players, the parents, you should have been upset. It was a bad call. The official, from my recollection, it was the back judge that first signaled a touchdown, which is kind of bizarre, being that the play happened in the left corner of the end zone. But I could have been mistaken. That side, that the guy right on top of it, or should have been right on top of it, may have signaled first. I saw the guy under the goalpost make the signal. Now, if that's the way it played out, I would have to see a replay from several angles. But in the end, they did call it a touchdown. They did not have the benefit of seeing a replay like we did on TV. I had a still shot of it. Credit to Steve Blackledge from Press Pros, the great Steve Blackledge. He I didn't know. I opened up his article. I didn't know if he was going to mention it, but shoot, they had the play, or the picture of the play right there at the top of the article. So at any rate, I don't know what happens if they don't call that a touchdown afterwards. It was clearly not a touchdown, but to everybody else's, defense, they did not have the benefit of replay. Should the guy have been in better position? I don't know. I'd have to see it again. And again, that it is happening in full speed, which is different than being able to take several looks at it, which college NFL has that benefit. I believe the state finals will have that benefit as well. So looking at it from that angle, you're going to be upset. As me, you know, I'm going to wake up the next day. I don't have a kid directly involved with the team or a relative or anything like that. So I heard Bob Ritchie of Furman, ironically, on the way to the game. I was listening to a podcast. He was talking about in 2022 how they lost at the buzzer in the conference tournament to Chattanooga. And then they were in that similar position last year and ended up beating Chattanooga and then pulled that stunning comeback upset against Virginia in the first round. And he was talking about how he was not going to let his guys use that as a crutch or as an excuse. He was talking about it. It happened. Let's use that. Let's move forward. There's always plays in these games that you could have made. You could have made a better call. You could go down a laundry list of things. And to be honest with you, in this game, both teams had chances to put this game away or win this game in regulation. We did some nice things on offense, but they did a good job of bowing up when they had to. Penalties started to rear their ugly head again for us. I don't know what our total penalty yardage was, but it was a lot. So that was something that came back into play Friday night. I knew we would have to play a pretty clean game against them because, as I tweeted out, they're very similar to a GCL school, maybe not like the top end guys that those programs have, but as far as they are not going to be out of position. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to play as hard as possible to make up for any gap in talent. They're not going to beat themselves, so you have to go out and beat them, and they make you sustain long drives, and that's tough to do at the high school level. So credit Coach Buttermore. He's beat us twice now in 6 overtimes worth of football. So kudos to those guys for moving on. They got a tough matchup this week against Gahanna, but I have no doubt that they'll have a game plan to give them a chance to be successful in that game. Overall, just some thoughts on the year, man. We've had some highs, we had some lows. A couple of the highs for me was the Wayne win for a couple reasons. My baby girl was born that same night, so it was so cool getting to hold her for that first time, and we turned the game on. Not that was nearly as significant, but it was just cool, and we found a way to win in the ditch that night. And another high for me, I thought we played really well at Pickerington North. It's against a really good team. Had chances to win that game. New Albany, the way we closed the ditch was fantastic. The Gahanna game is a sour taste. Being at home and just getting boat raced like that was tough. The team looked demoralized after that game, so it was great to see the guys bounce back. Then ended up winning 6 straight before losing last week to finish 8-4. But another OCC title, so that's another high. Coach Lamonaco's first year, a lot of positives to take out of this first year. Again, OCC title, that's the first goal. Then you want to win a regional and then win a state. I mean, that's how it is here at Pick Central. And obviously they fell short of those last 2 goals, but there was a lot to be proud of. I know it doesn't meet the standard here, but there's a lot of guys coming back, especially at the skilled positions. The line is going to have to be overhauled. A lot of seniors up front that played a lot of football this year. So the line is going to look completely different next year. You're going to have to replace A.J. Madison, who really, after that injury to start the season, came on at the end and was really Friday night, man. I know how we do things, and I respect that for sure. They've won a ton of games. I personally I felt like AJ was the hot hand, and he was running like a man possessed Friday night, and it was a shame that the 4th and goal where Coach Lamonaco went for it. That AJ ran into the back of one of our guys, or I have no doubt that he gets that in there. So that kind of stunk for him because I feel like if that does not, he's getting that ball in the end zone. But he ran into the back of one of our guys, and that happens. It's football, man. And Coach Lamonaco, I give him all the credit for. I would have done the same thing. Tried to, because we had the ball first. Try to put the pressure on them by scoring the touchdown instead of the field goal, and that's what he did. We just came up short. It happens. It's sports. But AJ, I thought, was playing really well at the end of the season. So we'll have to, replace his carries, the toughness that he brought to the table. He was even playing defensive back for us there at the end of that game Friday. So we'll have to figure out a way to replace him. Dom Shaw's another one, 2-year starter, free safety, played a good bit of offense this year. He's another kid that we're going to have to replace. And I'm doing this off the top of my head, so if I forget anybody that was a major contributor this year, I certainly apologize. Terrence Alexander's another one. He was unable to play on Friday night with injury. He had a couple injuries this year. So he was kind of a jack of all trades for us over the last couple of years. Just a guy that kind of sold out for the program, played some quarterback last year, just all over the place. But the cupboard is definitely not bare, especially at the skilled positions. You got K1 Alexander back, and as I'm thinking about running back, I would be remiss if I do not mention one of the heart and souls of this team, Aaron Heller. He'll be missed. At inside backer, also, got quite a few carries, got the touchdown in the second overtime. He's one of my favorite running backs, just how hard he runs and always seem to be picking up positive yardage, so we'll have to replace him as well. But K1 Alexander will be the main course in the backfield next year. It will be his show. Of course, we'll have other guys running the ball as we typically do, 3, 4, 5 guys. Another kid that came to mind, Dayon Thompson Green. Boy, did he really come on. He's played a lot of football, but at defensive tackle there, man, I thought he was playing exceptional football at the end of the year. So he'll be missed as well in that middle. But hopefully there's some guys that step up. As far as Deuce White, we were not going to have him, as far as I know, this week. He got hurt in the UA game. So he'll be back. And he's got a whole lot of talent. He can affect the game, offense, defense, special teams. So he can change the game pretty quickly, and he'll be back. So there's a host of guys that are going to be back next year, and we'll plug those skill positions. For me, defensively, Braylon Landrum will be back. Miles Harrison should be healthy again. I look for those two guys to have big years. We're also losing this Patrick Carney, the strong safety. He was a senior, so we only had him for 1 year. But to me, it's going to be do guys step up, and do we have guys ready to replace our guys on the O-line and the D-line? Because we know in big boy football, that's where the game is won. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in the off season, to see who surfaces and who emerges. But expectations are always going to be high at Pickerington Central. Next year won't be any different. Rocco will be back. I look for him to have a huge year. He still has 2 years left. So big things coming from him. Carson Goulet will be back, our kicker. So that's nice. And, we'll be in a different spot next year at the new field as long as everything goes as planned. Different spot, same expectations in Tiger Town, though. So we've got, I don't know what we got, 9-10 months and here in Pickerington, it's kind of like, uh, people just anxiously wait for that season to get going again as immediately after it ends. So, uh, God willing, looking forward to what 2024 has to offer.